This is my first video update coming to you from Nicosia, Cyprus. I am in the old town of Nicosia, and right across that barricade is the occupied Turkish part of Nicosia, and the Berlin Wall, Kebab House. Interesting name for that kebab house. Nicosia is a divided capital. It is the Republic of Cyprus, where I am right now, and across those barricades is the occupied north. And let's take a walk and talk about some news. We're going to walk towards Lidra Street and see what's going on. There should be a lot of people on this Saturday. So, elections in Italy. I said in my video update yesterday, I think my third video update, I said that the elections in Italy are going to be the first week of October. Well, they're actually tomorrow. That's when we have elections taking place. And Meloni, the brothers, they've been threatened by Vander Crazy. Actually, all Italians have been threatened by Vander Crazy. Vote the right way or else. And for the brothers who are slated to come out victorious in these elections and then form a coalition, most likely with Salvini and Berlusconi, and we'll get to Berlusconi in a bit. Well, they've been warned by Ursula to, if they were to win, to fall in line with the rest of the EU kleptocracy. So we have a very, very big day in Italy come Sunday. And Berlusconi actually, I think he gave an interview just the other day. And he actually did not take a bellicose position towards Russia. Berlusconi, of course, has, being one of the former leaders of Italy, a former prime minister. He is now 85 years old, by the way. He has, from what I understand, he has excellent relations with Putin. He actually has very, very good relations with Putin and Russia. And he defended Russian war on the eve of Italian election. That is, I think that's an article from the BBC, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to figure out where this article came from here. But, yeah, BBC. Berlusconi defended Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, saying Russia's leader was pushed into the conflict. The 85-year-old said Russian troops were meant to replace the government with decent people, then leave. The three-time Italian PM is a long-term ally of the Russian president. That is what BBC had to say. So if Berlusconi, if his party, I believe it's the Forza Italia, if he becomes a senator and his party gets into power, we may see some changes in the Italian government's stance towards Russia. This bar is called Cheers. The Cheers pub, where everybody knows your name. I don't know if anybody knows which sitcom I'm referencing, but I've given a big hint there. Cheers, the Cheers pub. So, big day, everybody, in Italy tomorrow. I'll be covering it. Of course, the Duran will be covering it. Alexander will be covering it, and everyone is anxious to see if Meloni and Salvini and Berlusconi form a government. Everyone's anxious to see how they are going to govern with regards to the European Union, with regards to this conflict in Ukraine and sanctions. And right now I am at the crossing. This is the crossing to the occupied north. 36% of the island is illegally occupied. And this crossing was actually opened in 2003, I believe, was when this crossing was opened. And it was the first time that that Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots were able to see maybe family that was on the other side, to see their homes that were on the other side. And you can now cross over with a passport, with an ID. And this was a result, well, let me simplify it. I'm not going to get into this too much because this would be probably like a 10 series video segment. But this is what happens when you have a coup. In 1974, in the summer of '74, there was a coup d'etat in Cyprus, and it did provide one of the reasons for Turkey to invade and to take 36% of the island. One of many different events that happened in 1974 and before 1974. But when you have a coup d'etat, things just don't turn out well. They never turn out as you expect them to turn out. And that'll be a good segue to talk about Ukraine. But because we have some updates with regards to the referendums and everything going on in Ukraine. But this separation is the result of a July coup. Let me see here. You guys want to cross over? Let's cross over. I'm going to have to put my camera down, but let's cross over. Well, let's see if I can cross over, and I'll take everybody to the other side. So I'm going to actually put the camera to the side because I don't think you're allowed to film, and you'll see me again when we cross over. So we are now in the no man's land, the buffer zone. I have to be a bit careful as I film until I cross to the other side. So camera's going down again. All right, I'm back. Yeah, everything's all right with the camera. So now I am in the occupied north, the Turkish side of Cyprus. Everything is okay in English and in Turkish. We are now on the Turkish lira, I believe. And this used to all be one capital, not anymore. So let's walk around a bit. So this is the tourist area. So you can see the tourist area here. They're selling a lot of stuff for tourists. Also a lot of coffee shops and restaurants. But let's move a little more into the city here. Let's talk about the referendum as well, because we're here to talk about some news. And we're on the second day of the referendum, actually. And we have some results from the first day, at least the turnout results. And in the DPR, 23.64% turnout, LPR 21.97% turnout, Zaporozhye 20.52%, and Kherson 15.31%. So that's on the first day. There are 4 more days remaining. Well, 3.5, I guess. 3.5 more days. And I would say, I have no idea where I'm going, by the way. I would say that it's looking like the turnout's going to be good. It's looking like they're going to have a good turnout, of course. The Ukraine military, they're under the orders, I'm sure, of NATO. I would venture to guess they've really ramped up the bombings and the shellings of Donetsk and Lugansk and Zaporozhye and Kherson and air defense systems in those areas were working all night, from what I read, and basically this is just being done in order to terrorize the people and discourage the people from turning out to vote. And I have to make a comment now with regards to the fact that the Ukraine military is in overdrive to try and discourage people from turning out to vote in this referendum. And my comment is like this. Here's my logic. And let me know if this makes sense. So Biden yesterday, he said this referendum's a sham. He gave a big speech and said that the U.S. and its allies, they're going to search for more ways to punish Russia, sanctions and economic costs and stuff like that. NATO said it's a sham. The EU said it's a sham. Every collective West leader is saying this referendum is a sham. It's a sham. And the mainstream media, they're saying that the Russian military is pressuring people to vote. And I've seen photographs of like, I don't know how real they are or not, but the mainstream media is running with a bunch of photographs of soldiers with guns, and people are walking into polling stations, and they have like a caption saying, this is how people vote in Russia, like implying that, the Russian military is forcing people to vote at gunpoint and just stuff like that. But there are 1,000, from what I get, there are 1,000 international observers there. 1,000. Maybe they're not from collective West countries, but these are trained international election observers. And everything that I'm getting from the reports of those observers is that this referendum is being very well run, very professional, very orderly, completely above board. This is the real deal referendum, right? And people are coming out voluntarily. They're happy to be out. They're voting. And this is, like a referendum that you would see in the open and free collective West, right? But my logic is this. My thinking is this. If the collective West tells us that this is a sham and this is fake, all of it is fake, all of it's a sham, don't take it seriously, ignore it. We're not going to take it seriously, Biden said, so you shouldn't take it seriously. Just forget it. We're never going to recognize these areas as Russian. Then why? Why are they working so hard to terrify the civilians? Why are they working so hard to discourage people from turning out to vote if the whole thing is make-believe anyway, according to the collective West? Why is the Ukraine military giving up so much precious ammo and time and resources? Why are they putting so much focus into disrupting a referendum which, according to their narrative and the collective West narrative, is fake? Right? The votes are fake anyway, according to the collective West. So why do they need to disrupt it? I think this is the Venetian column, I believe, right here. It's and you can see the cafes around here. And I've only been to this area maybe 1 or 2 times before, to be quite honest. So I really don't know where I'm going at all. So yeah, does that make sense to everyone? If this whole thing is fake, what do they care then? Why use ammo? Why use missiles? Why use HIMARS? Why terrorize the people? If these people are being forced to vote at gunpoint, then I would imagine that these people that are being forced to vote at gunpoint are people that don't want to become part of the Russian Federation. So why would you attack them? Why would you want to scare them? Anyway, maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but those are just my thoughts with regards to this referendum. So we have elections in Italy tomorrow. We have the referendum unfolding. A lot of big change is taking place, isn't it? A lot of big change, or a lot of possible big changes could be taking place. Here's a game changer for you. Since we're talking about change, let's talk about a real game changer. Now, for months, we've been hearing from the collective West how these weapon systems and those weapon systems, they're going to be game changers, right? HIMARS and what else? And Neptune missiles and switchblades, javelins and javelinas. Game changers, right? All of it's going to be game changer weapons for Ukraine. And none of it was a game changer. Well, how about drones? Iranian drones. Those seem to be changing the game, don't they? The drones are like super effective. I mean, like super effective. They've freaked out the Zelensky regime. They freaked out the Zelensky regime so much that Zelensky, from what I'm understanding, he actually came out with a video statement, and he was so freaked out by the Yeran 2 drones, and they actually hit Odessa or something. They hit like a bunch of military facilities in Odessa and Dnipropetrovsk. And he's so freaked out by them that he announced that the Iranian ambassador had been stripped of his accreditation and that the number of diplomatic staff at the Iranian embassy in Kiev had been significantly reduced. He actually stripped the Iranian ambassador because, according to Zelensky, Iran is now a type of party to this conflict. Is that a game changer or not? How ironic is that? That for 6 months, we've been hearing about all the game-changing weapons from the collective West. And none of them really changed any game. But the one time, and it's not 100% confirmed, by the way. I mean, Russia hasn't confirmed it. Iran hasn't really confirmed it, even though we all know it's going on. But when Russia gets drones from Iran, they actually end up changing the game. I was just thinking about that, and I was like, that is just so crazy. It's so ironic, isn't it? Anyway, some people may say it's poetic justice or something like that, because the collective West media has been going on and on about game-changing weapons. I bet you everyone's going to be wanting to buy those drones now from Iran. I bet you Iran has gotten a bunch of phone calls and messages from a lot of defense industries in a lot of different countries inquiring about their drone technology. And the collective West, they always make fun of, the technology of Iran, which has been sanctioned for God knows how long. And they say they can't make this and they can't build that. Well, the Iranians sure know how to build drones, that's for sure. Joseph Borrell came out with a statement. The EU foreign minister, that would be his role. I forget what his real title is, but he would be the equivalent of the foreign minister for the European Union. He came out and he said during an interview with, I believe it was Politico, if I'm not mistaken, either Politico or the BBC. The BBC is what I'm seeing here. Anyway, one of the two. They're all the same. He came out with a statement and he said that the European Union, they should take the Russian threats very, very seriously. And that perhaps, just perhaps, it's time for a diplomatic solution to this conflict. That's Joseph Borrell. The other day, Macron said the EU is not at war with Russia. Now we have Borrell. Remember, Borrell was the guy that just a month ago said this can only be solved via conflict and war and escalation. I mean, that was his statement. The only way to solve this is through conflict and war. And now he's saying, well, maybe, we should take Russia's threats seriously and just look for a diplomatic solution. The EU is starting to crack in a big, big way. And you know the neocons, they're going to ring up Borrell. Nuland's going to ring him up and she's going to say, Joseph, you better get back in line. We're going to continue to escalate. But there's going to be some EU countries that are going to tell the neocons, look, we can't continue this anymore. Russia's not bluffing. That's what they're going to tell Nuland. The neocons are going to push for escalation. There's going to be some EU officials, even EU officials like Borrell, who were all up for escalation before. They're going to start to chicken out now. And that's exactly what Borrell is doing. He's chickening out. He's saying, oh crap, now we've taken it too far. It's kind of like, you know, it's like you're teasing a guy that's bigger than you, like say like Mike Tyson. It's like me, you know, teasing Mike Tyson over and over again, and Mike Tyson's like, you know, look, just leave me alone, and then you keep on teasing him, and then you're like, and then he's like, look, leave me alone or else. And then one day, after you continue to poke at him, Tyson just says, you know what? I'm going to pound you to the ground. And you say, oh, Mike, I was just joking, man. I was just having fun with you, man. Don't take it so seriously. That's pretty much what Borrell is saying. We'll see if the neocons, if they get him back in line, and if his next statement in the next couple of days is something along the lines of, no, the only solution to this problem is more escalation. We'll see. I thought that was an interesting statement. So, once again, I don't know where I am, to be quite honest. Let's see here. Ataturk statue, I guess. Yes. Okay. So I imagine these roads. Imagine this is the end of the old town, and these roads take you to other parts of the occupied north. Let's finish things off with a clown world. And I think I've got two clown worlds, to be honest. I think I've got two. Let me see here what I've got. I've got one Reuters article, which is saying that the Estonian Prime Minister, Kaja Kallas, she told her nation that they should start to prepare for rolling blackouts if Russia switches off the electricity in the Baltics, which is a possibility. I could definitely see that happening. So, rolling blackouts. If Russia switches off the electricity, they would be lucky if all they had happen was occasional rolling blackouts. It could be a lot worse. Keep on poking the bear. Keep on poking that bear. And the other clown world is coming from, there's a Twitter account. I don't know who this guy is, to be quite honest. I should have researched this guy a little bit more. But Robert Barnes also sent me this tweet. Russian conscripts, they're getting Nagant rifles designed in 1890-91 and obsolete at the times of World War II. And he puts a picture of Russian soldiers, I guess, in Moscow with these rifles. Well, it looks like this guy didn't really think about what he was tweeting and what he was seeing, because these were cadets at a military medical academy, in St. Petersburg. And they were rehearsing for a Victory Day parade. And that's why they were given those rifles. So it was all part of the parade. But this guy actually thought that the Russians were handing out these rifles. Oh boy. I think he actually sent a tweet. He actually did send a tweet, if I remember correctly. Let me see if I could pull it up. So this guy sent another tweet. He said, oh yeah, well, you know, I may have been wrong about that picture, but here's another photo of Russian soldiers with those rifles. So he's like, from what I understand, this guy is like scrambling to find photos of Russians holding rifles from 1890, 1891 or whatever. Like he's in panic mode, this guy. Let me see if I've got it. Here we go. Let's see what he said. Let's see if I can pull it up here. He says, an important correction. This photo is from the year 2020, a cosplay for a parade. Still, Nagant Bosim is massively used by the Russian occupation forces in LDNR. As long as it were the forcibly conscripted locals. See the photos attached. Russia did not have assault rifles for them. Yeah, that's right. Russia doesn't have any rifles to give their military. It's not like there's some, you know, really big company, a really big factory located in Russia that makes some of the best guns and weapons in the world. It's not like Russia has one of those, does it? Maybe they do. Maybe they do have a company. I think it begins with, what does it begin with? A K or maybe, or something like that. I don't know. You know, I just believe that Russia must have some really big weapons gun manufacturer. Who knows? Probably don't. Maybe I'm just, you know, maybe I'm confusing Russia with some other country. Well, you know, maybe the Russian military can just forget about rifles and just buy more drones. I don't know, from Iran. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there, everybody. I'm gonna make my way back to the other side, and I'm coming to you from a divided Cyprus in Nicosia, Cyprus. What was once all of a united Nicosia, but is now a divided Nicosia. Coup d'etats. They never end well. Obama, Newland, Maidan, McCain, Cookies, Sikorsky, all these guys. Coup d'etats. Take care, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com.